Hello, everyone, and welcome to Schmidt List. I am your host, Kurt Schmidt, president and partner at Foundry. And boy, am I excited today. I'm going to be talking with Kelsey, and we're going to talk about everything to do with home healthcare, because I think there's a lot to be learned here. And Kelsey's doing some amazing work, and I want everybody to understand what they're doing and know about it. But before we get started, real quick, I do have to mention that at Foundry, we are hiring. So check out foundrymakes.com/careers. Maybe you're not looking for a job right now, but maybe your friend is. Have you mentioned it to them? Have you posted it to your social media and shared it with all your friends and family that Foundry is hiring? No, maybe you should. You could do that today. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, speaking of good ideas, let's talk to Kelsey. Kelsey, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm living the dream. It's negative 400 outside, so I'm starting to stay inside and stay toasty.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so tell me about In Control. You're at In Control. What is In Control, and what do you do there?
Yeah, so I'm the founder of In Control. We provide wellness services for adults with disabilities in the home. And so the way we do that is we have 4 pillars of wellness, and I have a coach, amazing coach, for each pillar of wellness. And they go into the homes, and every week they'll have a session with our clients and basically educate them, teach them how they can live healthy in that pillar of wellness, and then give them weekly tasks to do throughout the week, really to help enable them to create habits to focus on wellness and creating wellness as a lifestyle.
That's really cool. So do you feel that what has changed for you in the last few years? Why In Control? Why now? Why is this a passion of yours? And what do you see the opportunity right now with it?
Yeah, so really when I was 18 years old, I had a part-time job as a bus aide, and that's really where I developed my passion for working with adults with disabilities. I really feel called to love people unconditionally, to make people feel seen and make people feel heard. And so what I found out through that part-time job was that I shared a lot of similar qualities with the clients that I was working with. I can only speak from my personal experience, but really,
Sure.
When I am around individuals with disabilities, I feel seen and I feel loved, and I feel like I'm in an environment that's non-judgmental. And so every day I get to choose to be around people like that I feel like are working towards a similar goal. It's such a beautiful thing. And so when I was 18, I was like, I want to live in this world forever, and I want to do something about it, like this, it makes you feel so great. And so
good for you.
I was like, okay, I just continue to volunteer, and I've always had a passion for health and wellness. And when some of my clients turned 20, I was like, okay, so what are they doing now that they're adults? And I really found out that there's not a lot of consistent wellness services for adults with disabilities. So it was at that time that I was like, well, I guess I have to do something about this.
Yes.
So initially I was going to open a day program that was around wellness, and then COVID happened and all day programs shut down. I was like, how can I do this? Because now it's needed even more than ever right now. Everyone's sitting at home. Now there's no activities that get them up and moving. And so that's where I really started developing some of this wellness curriculum and sending it to some people that I know that are living in group homes, some home managers, and just saying, hey, here's some stuff to do to get yourself up and moving, to focus on wellness. And then from that point on, it was really successful. And I was like, oh, this is a need. And so from that point on, I just decided to add some accountability pieces to it, to add the coaches to the program. And here we are now. We have this program that is just, it's amazing. And it's really helping adults with disabilities really take control of their wellness.
Yeah, and I titled the name of today's show, The Future of Home Healthcare, because I think what you're doing is really interesting, because it's not just about providing, services where people are just helping with, manual labor or physical things. It's really, like you said, it's a curriculum. It's something that is there to not only support them, but to actually improve their lives. So tell me a little bit about the curriculum. What have you found really impactful with that?
Yeah, so really it's just teaching. A lot of times I just feel like they're educated all the way until they get out of school. And then it's like, well, go to work and come home and we'll watch TV. And don't get me wrong, there's some group homes that are amazing. There's some day programs that do wonderful things. But the education piece, I feel, is something that's lacking. So I decided to really be intentional about teaching. How do you do the laundry? How can you cook in the kitchen? Let's develop our knife skills. What kind of activity is best for you and your body? And then being able to give them the tools to really practice that and then implement it in their lives. And it's been wonderful. It's just really helping them to become more independent with their life.
Yeah. And not just what I've seen some in home healthcare, where it is more sort of, to lack of a better word, maid services in a way, right? Where they're just kind of helping out around, and it's not as engaged or as intentional as what you're proposing. And so, do you feel? What have you seen just in the last year? Have you seen this really working? Is there any stories of impact you could share?
Oh, yes. Actually, it's something just happened last month where somebody was like, one of the guardians was like, I think the session's not really going to work today. Can we just cancel? And actually the client was like, do not cancel this session because you are interrupting my program and my wellness, and was advocating for himself. And
that's fantastic.
She called me back and she was like, we have to make this session happen because he is excited to be there and he does not want to miss. And that just really warmed my heart, because it just shows that when you put your effort in and show that you care about their wellness, they start caring about their wellness too. Yeah. And it's been so beautiful. We see a lot of success with, especially in the kitchen when they're cooking and making meals on their own. I've seen a lot of people save leftovers and save them for other family members. Like, I can't wait for you to try this. And you can just see the confidence that is building as they continue to do things on their own. My coaches are wonderful. They really enable all of our clients to do things on their own. So instead of seeing that they're struggling and just hopping in and helping them, they really coach them through that. Okay, what is hard about this? Maybe let's find another way, because there's not always somebody to hop in and do it for you. And so really the independence piece is huge. It really builds confidence, and it's such a beautiful thing to watch and observe.
Well, and again, back to your point, it's keeping them mentally fit and not just physically fit, right? Which I think is so important, especially as you said, they're still young adults in a lot of these cases too. So there's a lot of growing there. There's a lot of life skills and life lessons to be learned. And having those foundational aspects seems to me really, really powerful.
Yeah. It really is such a beautiful thing. And what I love about our program is that we don't just focus on physical wellness. A lot of times when people think about being healthy, they think about being physically well. And you can be physically healthy and not well. And so
Right.
what we do is we really approach it from that holistic standpoint where we work on your spiritual wellness, we work on your social wellness, we work on how do you eat right and what's best for your body, because there's so many elements of wellness that we just don't want to focus on one.
Right. Yeah. Cause it's very holistic. It's gotta be.
Mhm.
And to your point, from that story you told, I think something I want to go back to what you said is that if you're showing interest and attention to this, they're going to show interest and attention to it as well, right?
Yep.
It's not just talking down to people and being like, well, you really should learn this.
Right.
It's accountability and responsibility that I just love it. I think it's fantastic.
Well, when you have a coach showing up to your house, you have no choice, right?
Right. There's
I
nowhere to
wish,
hide.
yeah, I wish I had someone that would come and wake me up and say, "We're exercising today." You
Oh
don't
my
have
God.
you don't have a choice, and that's part of that accountability piece. We knew that we needed to add some accountability to it to
Mm,
make them do it, and so our coaches will. There's a packet that goes along with it. That there's activities they do throughout the week when they're not with a coach, and
okay.
so when they do meet with a coach, the coach will go back and look at the packet and say, okay, let's look at the stuff that you did independently. Okay, what was hard? Let's review it, and
Mm,
then we'll move forward. And so there really is a lot of accountability. And so, like my
yeah.
client was like, you're going to mess up my program if I miss this. And that is true. So it was so funny. She was giggling. She was like, I've never seen him advocate for himself like this in this way. And
Yeah.
so that was just, that warmed
It's
my
a
heart so much.
Oh, I can imagine just seeing the transformation happen has got to be
Mhm.
so fulfilling personally, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yes.
let's talk about challenges. What are some of the challenges that you see coming this year? What are some things that you're focused on, areas that you want to grow, improve? Where are areas, if somebody's watching this, how can they contribute? How can they join and help out?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of barriers to providing services to adults with disabilities.
Okay.
Right now, I feel like the system, it has rules in place for wellness specifically, but I don't think it's enough. I think that wellness is supposed to be intense. It's supposed to be a part of your everyday life. And when you look at some of the companies that are providing services, they're just
Mm,
short staffed. They're not able to execute programming in a way that we would expect for ourselves, and so one of the challenges really is finances. That's huge,
sure.
because we want to be able to provide this service, but a lot of times we work with state programming, and so
Okay.
um, any given person might be on a different waiver or a different program, and so it's my responsibility to try and
Sort through all that.
fit and control somehow into those programs, right? And so, I mean, it requires a lot of different licenses for me to hold. And so right now it's difficult to be able to provide this to everyone. And so
Mm,
what we're working on, what we would really love this year is to create an angel fund where we can say, hey, you are on this programming right now. We don't accept that kind of financial support, but we have this angel program over here where people have donated money to be able to sponsor people. And so then
mm-hmm.
we can say, hey, you can apply for our angel program and then you can receive this programming for the year. That's really what I would love to see, because our goal in 2022 is just people. It's
Yep.
getting more people on the program. So one way that you can support really is by sponsoring a person or sponsoring a group home to be able to receive this programming for the year, and eliminate that financial barrier right away. A lot of people will not say no when you take away the financial piece of it. So
Sure. Yeah, it's
keep
funny.
a
People are
minute,
funny that
right?
way. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so shocking to hear that
yeah.
people, when there's no cost, the barriers drops. It's great.
Absolutely.
It's
Yes.
great.
And I feel like right now, I feel like we're in a unique position in 2022. I feel like a lot of people are looking for ways to build community and give back. And I really think this is a beautiful way to do that. We've had a couple corporations sponsor a group home. And so
Mm,
we actually are starting up a few group homes, like some pilots in the group homes to see how this programming works in the group homes. And so we've had a couple of corporations sponsor. And with that, it just can create such a beautiful relationship. Some of the staff from the corporation could go volunteer in the group home and use In Control as a bridge between the communities to really build the community through wellness. And so I think that that's an awesome opportunity to be able to sponsor an individual or sponsor a group home.
Yeah.
Another way that the second way is just marketing. It's really, really hard in the industry right now.
Yeah.
You can talk to anybody and they know a whole list of resources that this person has never heard about. And so
Right.
really it's word of mouth, connecting us as In Control to case managers, social workers, or guardians that have adults with disabilities is really huge, because then we can market it and we can say, hey, we do have these services that are available. Let's talk and see how we can get this in your home.
Yeah. Well, and I can imagine, the barrier to, the digital side of what you're doing, the much easier to take payments online and do all these things that I'm sure has really helped the business as well. Has that also been a challenge for you?
Yes, because
Yeah.
it has been most of the programs that we work with when we're working with the state, they actually don't pay online. So
Okay.
we have all these accounts set up online for individual donors if they are interested in sponsoring an individual or a group home. Yes, we do have the online payment for sure.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Make it easy for people to open up
Yes.
those pocketbooks and help people out.
I'm
And so,
trying. Tug at the heart.
right, right. So tell me about tell me a little bit more about the folks that are doing some of the work with you, the trainers and the people. Is there a type of person you're looking for? Is it do they have special backgrounds? What do you really look for when you're bringing in those trainers?
Their heart. That's really the biggest thing I look at. I want to hire people that also have a similar passion to me.
Yeah.
Being able to just love people and be non-judgmental. That is probably the biggest thing that I look for when I interview people, is their heart. Obviously the credentials, with my physical wellness trainer, he has all of his certifications. With my nutrition coach, the same thing. So I look for those certifications, but the biggest thing for me is just who you are as a person. Because it takes unique people to be able to work in the industry. You
Yeah.
have to be patient, you have to be flexible, you have to be loving and understanding. And if I'm interviewing someone and I don't feel that from them, I don't think it's a good fit. I
Yeah.
want all of my clients to leave their session being like, that's family. It feels like family. And so that's really the biggest piece that I look for, is just who you are as a person, your character, your heart. And if that aligns, then that's wonderful.
Yeah, I can imagine a lot of patience, and that's it's something that it's hard to teach people patience. It kind of has to be something you inherit a bit.
Right, exactly. There's no training course on that one.
I wish there was. I could give it to.
Oh, me
I could
too.
gift it to a lot of people. I
Me
know,
too.
right? So, and then, is your plan to focus on Minnesota? Do you have larger growth plans? I mean, would you like to see this nationwide eventually? Like, what's some of your big hope and dreams?
Yeah, big hope and dreams is to have this in every state.
Yeah.
I'm starting with Minnesota because it's home. I have a lot of connections here, and I just really feel like I can attack it while I live here.
Yeah.
I really want to get it up and running here in Minnesota, and then be able to just bring the product to another state and say, this is how we implemented it. It's super easy. A plus B really does equal C,
Yeah.
which sometimes is hard to convince people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That honestly is one of the hardest things.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Convince people that it really is that simple. A plus B really does equal C, and it will be easy.
People like to make things complex, don't they?
Yes, and I tried to simplify. So, yes, I would love to have it in all states, because it's so important. It's not just important in Minnesota. It's not just important for the people that live in Minnesota. There's different barriers with different states. Minnesota does a really great job with the support systems that are put in place for adults with disabilities. So it's easier to do it here because there's already things put in place. In other states, I know that they're not as blessed, and so it's going to be a harder battle. But I'm really excited to see how that unfolds. Honestly.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited for you, and I think you are doing some amazing work, and I keep hearing amazing things. So I thank you for taking the time today. It's been fantastic talking with you. So if I want to, like we mentioned, I can go and I can sponsor an adult, right? And I can go to incontrolmn.com and check that out. And if I want to get in contact with you, I'm guessing there's a contact page there too, right?
Yep. And that goes directly to my email. So that's
Okay.
the easiest way. If you have questions or you want to reach out and talk about sponsorship, you can just go directly to that contact page and you'll get a hold of me.
That's great. Yeah. And you also do have if people who have questions, whoops, I hit the wrong screen. If you have questions, there are frequently asked questions here. It's really great. I think you've done a fantastic job. I'm just so excited to see what happens this year with you. So you got to come back on the show later this year, and we'll check in and talk about all the lessons learned this year.
Yes, lots of those. There will be lots of those.
There will be lots of those. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to get Kelsey. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yep. Okay, everyone. So if you have not already done so, you should go and check out incontrolmn.com. And again, there are ways to sponsor adults there, and it's fantastic. And I'm so proud of the work that Kelsey is doing. I think it's so important, and it's personally meaningful to me. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today to watch me talk with Kelsey and check on what's going on there. I think it's great. So if you have any questions, reach out to Kelsey, incontrolmn.com, and just, thanks for watching. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day today. We'll see you next time.